Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business Motivation Podcast. And for tonight, we have a special guest. For episode 12, we have Mr. Wazari Johnson, the founder of Advocate Industries and Goods Express. All right, Mr. Johnson, can you please just give us a further introduction of yourself?
Well, good evening to everybody who signs in to the podcast, the Business Motivator podcast. My name, as mentioned, is Wazari Johnson. Since the year 2001, I've been functioning as a ceramist. That's what I studied at the Edna Manley College. And on leaving college, I went into studio ceramics, owning my own business. Formally registered it in 2002, April of 2002, and since then, since 2001, I've been practicing operating as a studio ceramist. I've worn different hats over the years. While in college, I exposed myself to computer graphics. I'm an illustrator. I write. I authored one book, and I've written for different newspapers, local ones, and the Toronto Caribbean newspaper. I try to do as much as I can. We have been blessed with one life, and I believe in maximizing on the life that we have been given. I think life is a gift, and I try to maximize and try to find out what my potential is. I try to not limit myself to any one thing. I try to get a better sense of who I am as a person. So I try varied things, and I'm most comfortable in the hat of ceramist, but I've been known as different things throughout the years.
All right, Mr. Johnson. You said a lot just now, and I've been taking a few notes, a few jottings. So many things that you have done in your time. Kind of a jack of all trades of some sort, and that's very good to hear. The idea here is not to limit yourself and to really push your boundaries, and I think that's very important for us to hear in this day and age, especially as youths and those who may be feeling disenfranchised. But we're gonna get into the story behind Advocate Industries. Now, I'm just gonna be honest here. When you hear the name Advocate Industries, I don't think about ceramics at all.
Yeah.
Ceramics just doesn't come to my head. But before we get to that, Mr. Johnson, when did you develop this love for ceramics? Because I don't really see you as that kind of person. I guess because I'm young.
Well, I actually got the bug while in college. Here you get the opportunity to experience different disciplines. So I wrote up for sculpture and ceramics. Never thought much about it, but some of my best grades at the college were in the area of sculpture. So I found out that I was strong in the area of working in 3 dimensions, and I did well in ceramics as well. When I got into the sculpture department, there was some issues with I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, so there was some issues with the Sabbath workshops and so on. And the long and short of it, the tooth at the time wasn't budging. I wasn't willing to budge, and there was no room for a compromise on either side, apparently. And I transferred to the ceramics department, because it was the other area of 3D that I found that I really loved. And yeah, went into the ceramics department, transferred from sculpture into ceramics, fell in love with the discipline, found that I enjoyed it because I love science and I love art. So ceramics is the best marriage between between the two worlds. You know, you have the science aspect to ceramics, and there's also the art and design aspect. So there's a lot of science behind ceramics, believe me. And yeah, I find that the material, the clay, is very forgiving. You get to make mistakes and correct them and so on. And I find working in clay very soothing. You know, of all the professional exploits, I get the most satisfaction from ceramics. I actually enjoy it a whole lot, you know, because it's like self-exploration. You know, you get to tap into different ideas, different designs that you want to explore. Each day is a new thing. I love my entrepreneurial pursuits, but you know, I find that it's very systematic in terms of, you know, per transaction what your costs are, and pretty much a day is usually like the same set routine and requirements. But with ceramics, it's like you have an unlimited world to tap into.
Right.
But I love entrepreneurship. I love, you know, goods expressed and so on. But ceramics is what I'm really passionate about.
Yeah, you said a lot just now, and I really like the point that you brought up about being able to be creative and to make mistakes when you're working with the clay. And I think it's a thing with men in general. We just love to create things, and it's done in different ways. For you, you work with the clay and so on. Some guys they write, some guys they would fix cars and stuff like that, and some guys would build video games and programs and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's still building. And I find myself in that category. I like to build things, and of
Okay,
course, one way in which you help things to build is to motivate others. So that's one of the reasons why this podcast exists, is because I'm trying to build something. So
that's great, man.
if you see that you are a builder of some sorts, to the audience, you have to find the best way in which you can build something. And don't just build something for yourself. Build something that can benefit others, right? But another point that you mentioned is, you not budging on your faith, and then you ended up going fully into ceramics and falling in love with the art. And sometimes life is like that. You get into something not knowing what will happen, and then you find yourself falling in love with something that you never expected. And that goes well with what you said before about trying to do your best in this life that we've been blessed with. Because if you don't try new things, if you don't get out of your comfort zone, you might never know what benefits you're missing out on. All right. And even if you don't really, quote unquote, fall in love with something, at least you'll find out what you don't like, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, you have to look at the bright side of things. To tell us the story of why you decided to make this into a business and why the name Advocate Industries. It doesn't sound like a ceramics business name. So, just run me through it. So, why you started this business and why you came up with the name?
Well, the reason I started a business was always my plan growing up. As far back as I can remember, I remember my cousin Joel asking me what I wanted to do with my life, and I told her that at 8 years old, I told her that I wanted to own a restaurant, a themed restaurant. You know, I was drawing a hot dog and put windows into the hot dog at 8 years old. You know, and I told her that I would create my own hot dog business. and it would be a theme restaurant. I never knew that that was what people called it, but I wanted a theme restaurant. So, not just like, you have a Burger King, but the building is not a burger. I wanted my restaurant to be a giant hot dog. And from 8 years old, I wanted to create my own business. So that was always in the plan. That was always in the plan. Like growing up, I never envisioned working for somebody else. So when I was going to the Edna Manley College, it was actually to pursue a course of studies in graphics and illustration, so I could create my own comic book company. And because I was into comic books as a teenager, and I was going to create the first Jamaican comic book publication.
I like comic
Um,
books too. I used to read comic
yeah.
books in high school.
Yeah. So from high school, the plan was to use my talent, which I've always been able to draw well, and so on. So I wanted to use that creative talent to earn from it. So getting to Edamale, transferring to ceramics, it was just earning from this. This is now the new discipline that I can earn from, as opposed
Oh,
to going into the field of creating the comic books and so on. So it was always my resolve that whatever aspect of my creativity I'm using, I would be using it to earn from it. So while in college, I was looking at the landscape to see how I could make a living as a ceramist. Fortunately, around the time when I was leaving college, cable television got popular. Not that I'm saying it's fortunate for cable in and of itself, but there was a channel on cable, HGTV, Home and Garden Television
right, right.
Network, and at the time they had a program on it called Modern Masters, and every Tuesday, I believe, they would air this program, and you would see different artists making a living from their art, and I was really inspired by it. And you would see sculptors, potters, blacksmiths, different disciplines, and so on. And I would continuously watch that channel to get ideas in terms of the marketplace for creative persons, creatives, because the designers, the interior designers were creatives. It gave me an idea of trends in the market and so on. And it was great help because when I finished Edna Manley College, to a degree I was influenced by my tutors there, and you could see their influence on my work. And I remember Vera Ennis, who was the curator and owner of the Pegasus Gallery at the time. She
Okay.
said to me, Wazari, you have talent and your work has quality, but what you need is differentiation. You need differentiation. You need something to separate you from the marketplace.
Stand
You
out.
need your own style. And I did not know what that style would be. And I noticed while I was watching Home and Garden Television Network that a lot of the at the time, like, bold colors was just coming in. Jamaicans never really used to paint their houses with bold colors, and I believe the influence of that network impacted the design landscape in terms of architecture and so on in Jamaica. And I saw more people experimenting with bold colors for exterior walls and interior walls. And when I looked at it, I remember one of my best classes at Edna Manley was Color Theory by Mike Stanley,
Okay.
and I just incorporated color theory, and that was my differentiation. A friend of mine said that was my most significant contribution to ceramics, because before my work,
Hold
um,
on, Mr. Johnson. Hold on, Mr. Johnson. Color theory. I don't think I've heard that one before. Remember, this is an educational channel, so
yes.
I want people to learn something. So, briefly, can you explain color theory to us?
All right, so we worked with the color wheel, and when you work with the color wheel, you get to understand based on the location of colors on the color wheel, which colors are complementary colors, which colors are analogous colors, you know. So red and blue work well together, and red, blue, and yellow, the primaries, they work well together in a space. Um, Green and orange work together. Purple and green work together. You can see that principle all throughout nature. It is how you blend colors and how colors complement each other, and then you go on to learn how colors affect mood and so on. So you would notice that fast food franchises like Kentucky Fried Chicken and a lot of other franchises use the color red.
Red. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
and red actually inspires you to want to purchase, to make impulse purchases, and so on. It has a psychological effect on you. And if you want to use a color to suggest something cool or sterile, you can use blue in combination with white. And then you find that a lot of milk-based products use those color combinations.
Are
So,
sometimes green and white.
yeah, yeah. So it suggests something clean or sterile. So colors actually inform how your mind responds to certain things.
Wow.
If you have like a mint green room, that room will actually motivate you to relax. And that is why when you go into broadcasting, you'll hear them say that the relaxation room is the green room, and in some places it's actually green. So that color actually inspires relaxation. So in terms of painting a house and so on, there should be a lot of thought behind the colors that you use. You
Okay.
know, so there are so many applications to design and art. So many applications, you know, and what I appreciate is that there are more and more platforms coming up where you can educate persons as to the importance of art and design, you know, um,
All right.
because it is actually very important.
All right. Thank you for that explanation. Really
Yeah.
learned a lot there, and I hope that the red that we're wearing is inspiring people to like and subscribe to the channel, right?
I hope so.
Um, right. So maybe it's a good thing why we're both wearing red tonight. So thank you for that explanation. I really learned something, and I hope you guys in the audience have learned something. Um, I believe this color theory is linked to color blocking, which I heard from Mr. Chevon Walker when he spoke about fashion and things that you wear,
Yeah.
the colors that you wear. So I guess it's pretty much a similar thing. Of
Yeah.
course, if you want to watch that interview with Chevon, I think it was a good one. Check it out on the channel, you know.
Definitely will.
Definitely watch. All right, so we're gonna have to move on a bit quickly now. Advocate Industries. Why the name Advocate Industries?
Well, the explanation is going to be very unusual. It's going to sound weird, but I was actually in the printmaking department, and I just drew the logo first. I was just drawing a logo. I saw this image in my mind, and I just drew the logo first. And when I looked at what I drew, it looked like an angel, but I started as A and I. And when I looked at the logo, and this was approaching final year, my final year show, because my intent was to launch my business at final year show.
Okay.
So I was just playing with that image. This image was just fixed in my head, and I was just drawing this image down, and I saw the letter A and I in it, and then the name just came after Advocate Industries, and the word advocate is one who pleads for the cause of another. And, I saw it when I created it, and I still see it the same way as not my business. I believe it is something that I was given stewardship over by the God who took me all the way through Edna Manley and still continues to walk with me. So I made the business in honor of God. And the plural industries is that God impressed me when I was creating it. that I would start with ceramics, but over time there will be different branches. So eventually it will become an umbrella group. And I've seen where different business ideas have burgeoned and are burgeoning out of, what began as just ceramics. We are seeing Goods Express being born out of it, and some other ventures that we are working on and are in the pipeline. So over the years I've seen the importance of varied industries helping the society, helping the economic situation of the society. I think I have a responsibility, not only to people who believe the same way that I do, but I think I have a responsibility to my island home to be somebody who creates possibilities for others, as the name advocate suggests. So through the years, we have started different platforms like the Art and Soul Expo, Art and Business Expo. We created that platform to basically showcase small enterprises and creatives, and we had that expo for 3 years. COVID came, and then we had to pivot and think about the future of the expo. But we are in planning stages, and we plan on continuing the expo. We are just seeing how the landscape will be for the next few months to see how do we now apply the same concept. The last staging of the expo, it was a creative home show where different furniture producers and local producers of art and gift solutions, we came together, and a friend of mine who owns Morgan's Creek in Sovereign Center, she had an extra shop space in Sovereign Center at the time, and she was ready for it. So, by a blessing of God, she gave us to stage the show in it for free, and I'm very thankful for that, very thankful. And it went well, it came together well, went well, and, God has really been good. I am one of those business people who I am a creationist. I strongly believe in God. I believe it's not just a belief. I know that He exists, and I've seen His hand in everything that I've done. I've seen things just happen on my journey that are just outstanding and impossible. I've seen the impossible, and I've lived the impossible.
Amen.
So our vision is broader than just making ceramics or our own personal efforts. I want to see the formulation of a more organized and broader creative industry in Jamaica, because there are countries that make billions of dollars from IP, billions of dollars from the creative industries, and I think it is one of the strongest areas that we have going for us as Jamaicans, but we have not figured out how to monetize it properly. A lot of our IP goes to waste, and a lot of our IP is taken over, and held hostage by different countries. People are utilizing music forms that were born here, and they are winning awards. The best reggae album was won by an American band recently. So while I don't have a problem with that, it's just that we don't capitalize well on our creative products. We don't capitalize well on it, and we have a short-sighted way of looking at Jamaica, and it's a situation of marketing beaches and resorts and so on, and there's no plan to diversify how we earn as a nation. And I believe our creative product, our products, is one of the chief areas that we will grow economically over the next few years, if God permits. And I don't see where there is much leadership in that area in terms of the political landscape. And I am not one person that believes that you should just complain. I learned that your hippocampus, that area of your brain, that is there for problem solving, it reduces in size when you just only complain. So you actually incapacitate yourself in terms of solution formulation. So
Anything really
if there's no,
specific here.
yeah, So if nobody else is creating a solution, I believe that I have a responsibility to be a part of the solution. Because if I'm not a part of the solution, I'm a part of the problem.
Wow, that's so much to unpack a while ago. I can't even summarize that. That was so much, guys. So if you didn't catch all of that, just rewind the video and listen to it. Amen. Wow. You had mentioned Goods Express earlier. We just want to wrap this up with a brief summary. Um, Goods Express, you said it came out of um, Advocate Industries. How exactly did that happen? It seems a bit different to me.
Well, my mother has a shop. She still has it. When I was younger, she was laid off, and to preserve her family, she created a shop. And then over time, the internet age came in, and I was kind of saying, "Mommy, in the era that we lived at the time, everybody had a grocery shop. Like there was so many grocery shops." And again, I strongly believe in differentiation. So when the internet became a thing, and I was always on the internet, I was saying, Mommy, I think you should create an online platform where people can purchase and you are not so dependent on your community. Because with the online capabilities, you can have a wider customer base. And she didn't get the idea. So from that point in time, it was something that I was playing around with. And then I met a friend who she basically had a similar idea. And at the time, I got some equipment damaged, like the ceramics equipment got damaged and so on. And I had to pivot. And at that time, then we got an investor. We initially started Goods Express, where persons could go online, order, and we would deliver their grocery items. The business was basically breaking even, and then the partners were concerned that it wasn't generating enough at the time to pay a salary and other things. So I was saying to them that, based on what I went through the ceramics thing and what I learned in terms of business in general, businesses sometimes take years to start to be profitable. So I was saying, as a concept, it's a good concept, and I'm going to stick it out. But the vote eventually came down that it would be dissolved, and I decided that, separate and apart from them, it was a brainchild that I had. So I decided to just re-register it, and some interested parties invested with me, and a friend of mine was working for another entity where he was delivering smoothies, so he learned to ride a motorcycle. Well, so when the investment came my way, I decided to utilize the strengths of that other brother who already had the skill of riding the motorcycle. And we started with one bike, and then it grew into two, and then three, and we started to adjust the idea where we started launching out, relaunching Goods Express with a bearer service aspect to it, and then we are going to then build out the shopping experience. Because when I was in one of the first meeting with the investors and they saw the original website that I had, they said that, boy, you have the potential to become Amazon for the Caribbean. You can be the next Amazon for the Caribbean. That's why they invested. They saw the potential. When I explained the concept, they were all for it, and they decided to invest. But my brother, my friend Kashif, he's like a brother to me. He was discussing with me the whole prospect of, a beer service, and how it can be a profitable venture and so on. And I listened, one of the things that I learned from an artist that I highly respect, Merdina Redding. She said that I should always be ready to learn from everybody. Even a baby can teach me something. So when Kashif was sharing with me the idea of the bearer service, I actually listened to him and I took him very seriously. So when the opportunity for investment came, I said, you know what? Well, and my wife also underscored that we should start, Rena. My wife Rena underscored that we should start with the bearer service and then build out, get a location so you can get stuck in, and then build out the shopping aspect. But start with the bearer service and then build out. So it's a growing concept. We are still in the process of growing, but it's a great journey so far. And some major players have found our website and have reached out to us, and they want us to become distributors down the road and so on.
Wow.
We have even gotten interest from overseas entities and so on. So I'm looking for growth in that area, in terms of Goods Express. So the journey I see where the Lord has us on is that that vision that was born there at Edna Manley, that advocate industries is becoming a reality at this juncture in my life, because we have these concepts for partner industries that are going to be under the advocate umbrella. And over the next few months, more and more people will be hearing about them, and we'll be seeing these different brands come out. I look at Grace Kennedy with great admiration, and I see what they are doing, and it's good stuff to emulate, where you have an umbrella parent company and then you have different branches, because Jamaica needs that kind of diversification. Yeah, you have a lot of unemployed people, a lot of persons are already with not much employment options, and you have to have people who are creating new industries. You have to have investment in these new industries, because our education system basically is geared towards creating workers. But when you have a large class of workers with no work areas, then you will have a problem. And right now we are seeing the problem. You have a lot of qualified, young, overqualified people who don't have job options. So I believe in doing my part for my nation. I believe I have a responsibility to the nation and to the wider Jamaican society to create these options so that these brilliant young minds will be incentivized to stay in Jamaica and make Jamaica one of the greatest nations on earth, if not the greatest.
All right. Well, again, I can't summarize what you just said. I'm gonna have to play it back. All right, Mr. Johnson, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Same here, Matthew.
I have to invite you back because there's so much more we could talk about, but time will not permit.
Yeah.
But guys, if you really enjoyed this, you're gonna see him again. Yes, and for those who have, enjoyed what he has said and has learned a lot from what he has said, don't worry, you'll be seeing him again. I will ensure that I will invite him to be on the podcast again. So, Mr. Johnson, thank you again for being here, and just an encouragement to those who are really trying to develop their artistic skills. I assume Mr. Johnson is the perfect person to talk to motivate and encourage you to, continue on the path. All right, and the link to his Instagram will be in the description, so I guess you can shout him out at any time. All right, so Mr. Johnson, do you have any final words for the audience tonight?
Well, for any person out there, whether you're young or older, and you believe that you have that entrepreneurial spark, and you have been contemplating the idea for some time now, I would actually encourage you to venture out and see what it is that you can do to enhance the society that you live in via your venture. Because the more we create these ventures, it actually has a positive impact on the wider society. You know, there are many opportunities out there, and I would encourage you not to be fearful. You know, you don't really lose even when you make mistakes. It is just another way of learning. So don't overthink the process. You know, step out into the deep. There are so many opportunities. I wish there were more people stepping out into the deep. This country has a lot of potential. This country is the land of opportunity. This country has a lot of resources that are underutilized. And opportunities are there just by looking at things differently. You know, look at demands that other people are not tapping into. You know, look at resources that somebody else is wasting, and you have a gate for it, an opening for it. I don't know if I have any time to say this, but I remember years ago, my father was a farmer when he was alive, and he specialized in making natural juices and wet sugar and sugar head and molasses from sugarcane. That was he left from Canada and came here, and he wanted to create these organic products from sugarcane, and he bought a parcel of land, 16 acres that had oranges and grapefruits on it. And because his focus was on the sugarcane, nothing was being done really with the grapefruits and the oranges. And it was at the time when I had equipment damage, and I was there, kind of sad and murmuring about the loss of the equipment. And he said to me, Wazari, all you have to do is reinvent yourself. One of the best advices I've ever gotten from him. There are times when he gives me these gems, and they stay with me. And that was one that stuck with that really stayed with me. It stuck. And I looked at the field here of the unused oranges and grapefruits, and I said, in my neighborhood, people would use this up, don't have selling fruits and so on. And I just took some crocus bags and gathered the oranges and grapefruits and went door to door in my own neighborhood and sold it, and it sold off. It sold off, and that became a short-term venture that I used to get some capital to get back on my feet.
Wow.
And I'm just saying that in this country there are many other scenarios like that. There are many other scenarios like that. There are just too many. Right now, my mind is all over the place. There are just so many opportunities like that.
All right, Mr. Johnson. I'm sure
Yeah,
you'll be able to express some of these the next time you come on.
yeah,
We have to leave them hanging, We have to leave them wanting more, Mr.
yeah,
Johnson.
man, definitely.
You know?
But there are a lot of opportunities, and you just have to have an eye for them, and go there, venture out, try something. Try to become a solution to a problem, and I think you'll find that you might have a business there.
All right, all right. Thank you very much for that. Very powerful words. Reinvent yourself. Ensure to be a problem solver. That's very important.
Yeah,
And of course, you can get advice similar to what you're hearing now when you get my ebooks, Prioritizing a Business Vision, Volume 1, which is free. Volume 2 will be coming out this month. It won't be free, but it will be very inexpensive. All right? So just look out for that. All right? Again, Mr. Johnson, thank you. And of course, we look forward to the next podcast with you involved. All right? So this is the Business Motivation Podcast, episode 12, where we have spoken to Mr. Wazari Johnson, the founder of Advocate Industries and Goods Express. So from us to you, good night, and remember, always stay motivated.